Okay, so let's talk about the three walls of defense. Okay. So the first wall, what is it?
It's your physical barrier.
Physical barriers. So what makes up the physical barriers?
Skin, mucous membrane. Skin.
All right, yeah, so we've got skin, we've got mucous membranes, we've got there's stomach acid. Stomach acid, it's a little bit involved in digestion, but you can get nutrients and survive just fine without stomach acid once you're in your adult years. It's mainly for proteins, and for the most part, unless you're like doing
It's
a lot
mainly
of
for,
stomach acid, mainly to break down proteins.
oh,
So unless you're, like doing a lot of bodybuilding, need a lot of extra protein, for the most part, you don't necessarily need your stomach acid anymore. So for digestion, for the most part, it's actually just to help fight bacteria, because like it or not, everything we eat is covered in bacteria. So think about that next time. So yeah, so stomach acid, things like our tears, our saliva, vomiting, urination, defecation, all those things, physical barriers. There's one more. Well, I'm not gonna make you a fish for it. That's just not nice. Not a good teaching technique.
So the chemical barriers would be like your antibodies and stuff, right?
Well, so you've got your physical barriers,
Uh-huh.
your non-specific internal defenses, and your
Oh,
specific
okay.
internal
Okay.
defenses. So the last physical barrier is going to be normal flora. So what's normal flora?
isn't it like bacteria, bacterias?
Yeah, so it's bacteria and even some fungus and things like that that are living in your system that are not harmful to you, that are actually helpful. Why would it be helpful to have, like we literally have a pound of E. coli living in all of our intestines. Why would that be helpful?
Because it helps break down some of the stuff that we eat in the
Okay.
intestines, so.
So-
That's why appendix burst is really bad, because then it can actually, because as long as it's in your colon, then I mean, it's like harmless, you know? But
Right.
as soon as it leaks out, it can cause really bad infection.
Right, yeah. When it's where it's supposed to be, it's okay, but when it gets where it's not supposed to be,
So-
it's a problem.
So, for appendix burst, it's not necessarily the bursting that's bad, it's what it releases.
It's all the bacteria
It's
that gets
bacteria
into
that
your-
comes out, so.
Yeah. Yeah. But so as far as digestion, but why, how is that helpful for immunity?
The good bacteria, so like the physical barriers is pretty much anything like, if that can like protect the body or recognize it and get rid of like any foreign substance. Yes, no?
Basically, the physical barriers are just like, literally just putting up a big wall and saying, you can't get past our wall.
Okay.
It's like, Brother Ray will give you, and I'm stealing his thunder a little bit, but he'll give you the Helm's Deep analogy from Lord of the Rings, right? So you have the very outer wall, and it's just a big wall. And just being a big wall itself protects you quite a bit, right?
Okay.
It protects you from most things, actually. But when you break down that first wall, you get through there, then you start to need your second and third wall.
But the deeper you go in, the stronger, right?
The stronger it gets.
Yeah.
None of us, our third wall has never failed. Because if it would have, we would be dead, right? So normal flora, the reason they're good for immunity is, think about it. It's like trying to find a parking spot on campus. If all the spots are full, you're not going to find one. So if some other bacteria comes in and all the nutrients, all the food's already being used up by the good bacteria, the harmful bacteria can't grow, it has nowhere to go. It's already, all those parking spaces are already full. E. coli in particular is really good because it actually, not only does it use up all the nutrients, it actually kills anything else that tries to compete with it for nutrients. So it's like not only have you all the parking spots taken, the cars that are parked are like shooting darts at your tires as you're driving by trying to find a place.
That's a good way to put it.
I stole that analogy from Brother DeWall, teaches microbiology.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Okay, so and like I said, so it's in our intestines. Females, you'll find bacteria and fungi, as maybe as gross or weird as it sounds. You find a lot of that in the vaginal canal because it helps protect from bacteria. I mean, that's a prime environment for bacteria, and so by having some there already that's not harmful to us, fights it off.
Is that why it's bad, I guess, when, not necessarily when we're pregnant, but like to take antibiotics because then it'll destroy the bad bacteria too? Or the good bacteria, and so like...
Yeah, so there are different types of antibiotics. Some just target certain bacteria, and some may not cause a problem. But if you take a broad spectrum antibiotic, it's gonna kill the normal flora, and that's where like yeast infections usually come in. So usually if they're gonna give you a strong antibiotic like that, they'll automatically just prophylactically call it before it even is a problem, give you medication for a yeast infection because it's likely to develop. But also just, it's just even in anybody, you get rid of that E. coli in the system by doing a broad spectrum antibiotic, you end up with like, you get a lot of like diarrhea or constipation, or you have a lot of bowel symptoms. And so a lot of times they'll tell you, eat a lot of yogurt with it. While you're on the antibiotic, eat yogurt. Yogurt has that good bacteria, those probiotics, to help replenish the bacteria that we lost. So, make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So that's the first wall.